Hello there, it's Khechara here from thefacelifdiet.com, and I am going to do a quick video about health myth number 2, which is I can't afford to be healthy. We covered health myth number 1, which is I don't have time to be healthy, where I showed how quick it is to actually make one of the number 1 health foods, which is a nice fruit smoothie. So I want to cover the money aspect because in my own nutritional practice at thefacelifdiet.com, I not anymore, because I now only work with sort of high achieving women, but when I first started out years ago, I used to come across people all the time that would say, you know, not only could they not afford to see a nutritionist, but they'd actually claim that they couldn't afford to be healthy. And I used to think about this and be like, because at first I used to be quite stumped, like, how can I help people that claim that they can't even afford to buy, you know, sort of fruit and veg, for example. And then I started thinking about it, and do you know what? I actually believe that that is 100% just an excuse. There's no such thing as not being able to afford to eat well, and I'll tell you why. The very first thing is, when I first started eating healthily, I had no income at all. I was literally unemployed, I wasn't even a student, and I was claiming welfare while I was looking for work. So, and I bought a juicer. I used to shop at a local grocer's and spend all my money went on fruit and veg. I didn't buy DVDs, well actually they weren't invented then, I don't think. The equivalent, I didn't buy tapes and records. I didn't buy clothes, you know, all my money went on food because I prioritised my health. And that's the key. If you prioritise your health, then you can afford it, because you won't buy other things that are non-necessary. When I first got into raw food and being like into raw food in quite a big way and experimenting with making really exciting raw food dishes, I actually lived in a caravan in a field, and I had no job, and I was also I had no electricity and I had no plumbing. I lived in the wild. I didn't even have indoor plumbing or anything, and I used to make loads of raw food dishes. My food was all organic, and I basically used to garden. I had no official job, but I used to garden for people for, you know, sort of basic little bit of money to live on. I lived on £40 a week. So if I can do it in a caravan with no electricity and no plumbing and pretty much no real job as such, then there's no such thing as not being able to afford to be healthy. Health should cost you less because you do less. You know, fresh air is free, sunlight is free, water out the tap is free. People will drink sodas and tea rather than have water, and yet water's free, and water's the healthiest thing. Even with all the rubbish they put in it, it's still healthier than drinking Coca-Cola and other soft drinks. And beer and things like that. So healthy living actually costs less. You know, rather than drive a car, walking and cycling is much cheaper. And with the food, yeah, I appreciate that these days, unfortunately, junk food is so ridiculously cheap. You know, a family could buy like a pack of burgers for £1, whereas, you know, a mango might be £1.50. But think about the value of that. You know, you're getting less food for your money still. You know, I could charge you 50p for a load of cardboard, you know, and it'd be cheaper than a mango, but you're not going to get any food out of that cardboard, not very much. So you've got to, if you're going to buy food, buy actual food, you know, and you can still do it cheaper. You know, I've got friends who are really into their raw foods, and they are absolutely scraping the barrel with money. They're worse off than people on welfare. They are students because student income is less than welfare, and you have to pay it back. So you know, my partner is a student. He gets less than £3,000 a year to live on, and he has to pay for everything out of that. So that's bills, that's college materials, and he eats a diet that's vegan and high in raw foods. He gets to, you know, sort of 10 to 15 bananas a day. He eats melons and mangoes, and you know, so there's no excuse at all. Everyone can afford healthy food. especially if you don't buy useless stuff, you know, that you don't really need. You know, I've got, you know, people I know in my personal life have said to me, I couldn't afford to eat like you. And I said, well, how much do you spend a week on alcohol? And it turns out they spend like £45 a week on alcohol, but only 20 on food. Well, that really means their food budget is £65 then, you know, so that's lots of money to spend on healthy food. And if you smoke as well, you know, if you're smoking and you're smoking a sort of pack of 20 a day, well, that's like, you know, that's about a £5 a day these days, and 7 days a week, it's £35 a week on cigarettes. You know, I've got friends that'll easily blow £100 a night going out. They'll go to a pub, a couple of pubs, a couple of clubs, and then to the casino afterwards, you know, gamble a load of money, and they'll spend, you know, like 90 odd pounds in a night doing that. Well, that's a lot more than I spend on food. And, you know, I eat more fruit than anyone I know in my whole county, if not my whole country. You know, and I buy a lot of my stuff's organic as well, which is almost double the price sometimes. So there's no real excuse. If you are sitting there saying, well, you don't understand, you know, I've got children and I don't have much of an income. I appreciate that, I really do. But like I said, you know, I've been unemployed and homeless and still eaten really well because I prioritised my health. If you prioritise your health, then you'll see there's lots of ways you can cut back. If you nip into town daily and buy, you know, go to Starbucks and buy a cup of coffee, it's nearly £3. Well, that's, you know, 3 7 is £21. It's £21 a week you could be saving. Do you buy DVDs? You know, are you buying women's magazines, which are like almost £4, some of them nowadays? You know, look at your entire budget. I know people that will say to me, oh, my food budget's only £20 a week. But it's only £20 a week because they've decided to make it only £20 a week because they wanted to spend other things. And it's really down to what you want. If you want to be healthy and you want to eat well, you can, but you must prioritise that above everything else. You know, I don't drive a car. There's just no point actually because I live in the city. But, you know, I'm just trying to think of all the different things people tell me as a reason why they can't eat well. And it's, you know, car ownership. They want to do this, they want to do that, they want to have the latest iPhone at £500. They want new trainers, they want to go out clubbing, you know, 2-3 nights a week and spend lots of money on alcohol, they want to smoke. That's your choice, you know, and if you want to do that, that's fine, but then don't come whining saying you can't afford to eat well when you can. I've got friends who are really into health and they'll still make those kind of excuses. They'll say to me, I can't afford organic food, and yet they're spending, you know, £40-50 a week on cannabis. You know, it's a no-brainer at the end of the day. If you really honestly want to eat healthily, sit down and write down in a like typical week or a month or whatever what you spend on non-essentials, and you'll be quite surprised at how much money you can fritter away on nonsense. And if you want to be healthier, then that automatically means cutting out smoking, drinking, drugs, that sort of thing, and that releases a vast quantity of money into your weekly food budget. I mean, when I used to drink and go out, I used to go out 3 nights a week, and I'd spend £20 to £30 each time I went out. You know, that adds up to like nearly £100 a week. It's scary, and I know people that go out a lot more than that. So it's down to you. It's your choice. There's no such thing as I can't afford to be healthy. Health is cheap. Health is free. Getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, exercising, which could just be, you know, hard brisk walking or running outside, costs absolutely nothing. It's 100% free. I don't believe in having to spend tons of money to be healthy. I think health should be available to everyone, and I believe it is, but it's down to you as to what you choose to spend your money on. So if you want to be healthy, you've got to make health your #1 top priority. Everything else comes last. You know, if you're healthy and vital and feel amazing, you don't need all the other stuff anyway, you know, because your health is your wealth. So you won't need to spend it on this, that and the other to try and regain happiness, because you'll be feeling great all the time. So invest in your health. It's the biggest investment you can ever make. And, you know, stop with all the excuses and just do it. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.